Thank you, Mr. President, and thanks for the discussion. Senator Dix, to accuse us of spending 102% of what we take in is not a fact. I sat in with Senator Gronstal and Senator Dvorsky and the Fiscal Bureau when we put our targets together, and those numbers are 96%. And by law, we can spend 99%. And I saw that same number in a bunch of your newsletters printed in local papers that's not factual. And so, just to clear that up. And Senator McKinley, I appreciate what your community and the business in your community and how that growth is, and especially with the Vermeer manufacturing. And because of cellulosic ethanol in Emmitsburg, Iowa, Vermeer has got a new retail place there selling balers and all these trailers and stuff to accommodate cellulosic ethanol. And that's going to happen at Nevada and other places in this state within the next year. And so all these new programs, renewable fuels and all this, have added to Iowa businesses. And I know all of you over there on the other side of the aisle, you love your community college, because I've heard you say it every year. But do you know how they're funded? In 1967, back in room 24, Senator Grassley and I was in a conference committee on community college funding. And we set the local levy at 20 1/4 cents, 1,000. Lowered it from 27 down to 20 1/4 cents. It's been that way ever since. So the other line for community college funding is the general aid that we appropriate. And the only third option is tuition. That's the only flexible number that these people got to work with. And that's why it's so high. That's why today these students are paying over 60% of the costs to operate a community college. That's heat, lights, and salaries, not bricks and mortar. In Jackson, Minnesota, today, the ACO Corporation is building farm tractors, row crop tractors under Massey Ferguson name. They're hiring 1,000 employees right now. Minimum salary $18.50 an hour, and they're not a right-to-work state. And that's 7 miles outside of the Iowa border. This is an issue that we cannot afford to address, is training our skilled workforce. Now, you ought to be ashamed of yourself to address the community colleges like you have. We love you, but we're not going to fund you. That's been the story around here for many, many years. This bill is not about Jack Kibbie. It's about that workforce out there that needs to be trained. That's probably enough from me. I also want you to look at some publications that are available to every one of you. And one of them is the Workforce Needs Assessment that's put out by the Iowa Workforce Division. It talks about every county in this state and the needs for workforce. And also the condition of higher education in Iowa that's put out by the Iowa Student Aid Commission. Student debt in this nation is higher than credit card debt. And we just keep piling it on because we won't address the needs of our students in this state. And that's further than the community colleges. But the community colleges that's paying this high tuition and fees, it's getting their priced out of business. So there's a lot of people to thank. You know, I've talked to the Association of Business and Industry, the Iowa Business Council, the Greater Des Moines Partnership, and the economic development directors in various regions around this state. And this bill addresses regions. The shortages are different from one region to another. I think it's time for all of you on the other side of the aisle to get off of this voting no on everything. You haven't voted for an appropriation bill since '06. Any appropriation bill. It's time for the people of this state to understand that. Whether it's health care or education or jobs, it's the same answer on all those issues. No. Mr. President, I move Senate File 2024 be read for the last time as amended.